Hey there, thanks for joining. My name is Andrew Dodds, co-founder here at SimpleStack, and today we're talking about how you can filter linked records in Airtable. So this had to be, while I was working at Airtable from 2020 to 2023, this had to be one of the #1 most requested features, the ability to limit a selection of items in a linked record field based on some sort of conditions, and you can do it now. And it's pretty easy to set up. And so let's just jump right into it. If you're looking at how you can do this and leverage this for your Airtable bases, you're in the right place. So we're going to jump over to my screen here, and I think a good example to teach this from is a project management use case. So we're going to keep it really simple. Now, if you don't know what linked records are yet, go watch one of our other videos on how to link records together. This may be slightly challenging to understand if you're not sure exactly how those work yet, but I'll try to explain it within the context of filtering as well. Okay, so I've got two tables here, and I'm going to tell you our goal. The information in these tables are, I've got a list of projects and I have a list of team members. Okay. And these team members have a type, so they might be a project manager, they might be an engineer, they might be an accounting. In accounting, sort of insert your desired role here, okay? And what we want to do is we want to create some fields on the project that we can assign to those different roles, but only see people from the team table that are in those roles. Now, your exact use case may be slightly different than this, but I think this is a common one we see in our practice at SimpleStack, and so we are going to use this as an example. So the first thing I'm going to do is head over to the project table and create, let's say, a project manager field, engineering field, and an accounting field, okay? So these are the account team, you can think of them as, for managing a project. Okay, so we're going to make a project manager field, and this is going to be a link to the team table. Okay, now we don't want to allow linking to multiple records, and I'll show you if we were to save this how this would behave. Linked records allow you to get a pick list or a drop down of all of the items on the table that you're linked to. So you'll see that I can see Spider-Man, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Flash because they are all on this table. However, what this isn't allowing me to do is seeing just project managers, because this is where I would assign the project manager. So why would I need to see the engineer or the accountant? And that's true. In order to build a workflow that is intuitive as possible, I should only see project managers when I click into this box. Okay. And the way you can set this up is by saying, I want to limit the record selection, but I'm not going to limit it to a view, which you could do it that way, but I want to base it based on a condition, okay? And this condition is going to be where, and these are the fields on our teams table, this is going to be where the type is project manager. And you'll see that we'll go ahead and confirm this change, that now when I click into this project manager field, all I see are those that are project managers, okay? So this is a nice way to limit those options. Additionally, I like this option the most. There's also the view option. So let me show you how that would work. You could also, I'm just going to show you project manager V2, link to another record, team table. Okay. And then we are going to, instead of basing it on the conditions like we did for our first version, we can actually go back to the teams table and create a view. So this first view that we have, let's call it all employees. And we're going to go ahead and duplicate this and then filter this down to just project managers. Okay. And so we've got a project managers view. Let's spell project managers correctly. And then we're going to just filter this where the type is project manager. So that's all we get. Now back over here on our field, in order to just get project managers, we could limit record selection to a view of project managers. So these are two flavors of how to limit what you're seeing from a linked record table. And they have distinctly different applications. In some cases, it may not matter, but imagine that you are frequently adding new roles into the teams table or changing things in there. Using a view, you would have to go in there and create a new view each time and map it to a new field. Whereas if you're using dynamic conditional logic, it can continue to update more readily and require less manual effort as you're scaling out your solution. Okay. Now the other thing that's nice is on the conditional piece here is that you can continue to add conditions and conditional groups. And so you can really start to filter this in a way that is pretty smart. Okay. And I'm going to show you just an idea of, when it comes to project management, one of the things we get asked for a lot is, can you help me track the bandwidth and only show people who are available and those types of things, right? Now, we're not going to go into an entire utilization formula and sort of timeline and all of that right now, but I'm going to show you how you could layer an additional condition on top of this that would allow you to only see free project managers based on the date that they are working on other projects. Okay. So we're going to add a layer here and sort of take this really foundational thing that we learned and kick it up a notch. Okay. So projects may have dates. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this V2. And we're going to add some date fields here. Okay. So we've got project A and project C for Spider-Man. Okay. Now let's imagine we haven't assigned Spider-Man project C yet. Okay. We're going to do some start and end dates. We're going to choose the date field for that. We don't need time. And I'll go ahead and create an end date field as well by duplicating and then just changing the title. Okay. And this is going to have a start date of, let's say, May 1st. And let's say an end date of May 15th. And then for project B, we're going to do start date of April 1st, end date of April 17th, and let's do start date of June 3rd. And let's do end date of June 25th. Okay, so we have some details in here now, okay? And what we want to do is provide the ability to understand when someone is on a project, sort of what that means in terms of the dates themselves, okay? And we can do this from the teams table, and what we're going to do is employ a little formula in order to understand if how someone is currently working, okay? So just a couple of things and a couple of tricks that we can do to do this. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look up the start and end date of the current project that Spider-Man is on, okay? And it's actually going to look it up for everyone in this table, but we need the start and end dates to understand when someone is working. Now, this is a lookup field that's coming from the project itself, okay? This was our old project field. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay. And then we're going to employ a formula, and this is going to tell us today's date. Okay, now this can work in the background, and it's a simple formula. All you have to do is type today, comes up, and you'll close the parentheses. And all this is ever going to do is give us today's date. Now, I don't like how it defaults to showing us the time that isn't really relevant for us right now. It may become relevant. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're simply going to look and see if today's date has a conflict with this time range. Okay. So we want to see if this date falls into these in this range. Okay. So let's go ahead and do that. And what we're going to do is we are going to pull in this formula. And this is a simple if-then statement. And it also uses a nested and. And essentially what it's doing is it's saying if today's date is after the start date and before the end date, tell us that it is busy. And if that's not the case, tell us that they are open. So you'll see that what we get as a result for the situation where they're currently on a project that goes from 5/1 to 5/15. Today's date is the 6th, so they're actually busy versus this person, Batman, who was on this project, but today's date is the 6th, so they're open. Okay. So this gives us some information that we can now feed back into that conditional formatting, or not formatting, that conditional logic in the selector field. And so I want to show you that now. So if we go ahead and open up our project management field here, and we're going to now add a condition. So they have to be a project manager, but we also want, and their status needs to be open. Okay. Now remember that this is going to be based on as of today's date. Okay. So as we're going into assign them, this is going to say whether or not they are actively working on a project. So you'll see that when I come down here to select, I'm only going to see Batman because Spider-Man's currently working on in the midst of a project. Okay. So this would be a way to understand who's currently on an active project or not without having to manually update statuses, and you could easily tell then who you could assign. Okay. And what it also allows for is for you to do future sort of planning. So you can take this a step further, for instance, and you could make it based on when you're going to assign the project, its start and end date, to see if that overlaps as opposed to today's date. That would be another way of accomplishing the same thing. Okay. So this has been a really quick tutorial on how to filter linked records. And there's really a lot to this, and you can get pretty creative with it, stacking different conditions and thinking about what you're looking to accomplish. I would love to hear more about what people are thinking or trying to accomplish with the filtering of their linked records, and would be happy to help. If you want to drop comments on the video, we would be happy to give you our 2 cents on it. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for joining and checking the video out. Hope that it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.